This is Lemmy with Revzilla. I'm here on a brand spanking new 2017 Indian Springfield. This bike is hot off the presses. I was down here in Florida and the guys at Indian gave me a chance to ride it. Now this is going to be a little bit different than the way we usually do things. You guys know that Spurgey and I really like to shake down the bikes thoroughly and pile the miles on them. However, that wasn't possible here. We've got a very abbreviated time on the Springfield, so I wanted to give you my initial reactions, the things I was thinking immediately from getting on this motorcycle. So you guys know the name of the game when it comes to a touring bike is power and comfort. So let's talk about power. This mill over here, this 111 cubic inch Thunderstroke is laying down a ridiculous amount of power. It's almost comical how much low-end torque this thing makes. It's ridiculous. This is a short shifter's delight. 119 foot-pounds. It bests the horsepower by a whole bunch, which is pretty common in the touring class. Now when it comes to comfort, check out my body position here. Look how upright I am. I could ride this bike all day long. The position is just perfect for me. The other thing that helps with the comfort too is the suspension. This soaks up every single bump in the road. I actually ran over some of that washboard pavement twice before I even realized that they were attempting to get me to slow down. It just eats up every bump in the road. I actually felt kind of embarrassed for Harley-Davidson when I thought about the suspension they provide on the competitor to this, the Road King. Now you guys know I'm a little bit of a wrenchy guy. I like to take things apart and figure out how they work. So I'm gonna put a couple more miles in this baby real quick, and then I'm gonna pull over to the side of the road and sort of talk about the nuts and bolts of what make the Springfield something special. Now the Indian Springfield, on face value, appears to be a very simple motorcycle, but there really is more here than meets the eye. The first two things that really identify the Springfield is the windshield as well as the hard bags on here. These bags are really cool. They maintain that nice swoopy styling of yesteryear. They pop open super easily, but the other thing I really like about them is that they're, believe it or not, power locking. I think that's really cool. It's a modern touch on what is ordinarily a very traditional, conservatively styled motorcycle. Now, moving up the bike, there are some other things that make this really cool and really identify well with the touring philosophy. The first is this saddle. Check out these chrome studs in this seat, very traditional looking. But I also like that the OEM seat is set up from the factory to have a removable P-pad. So whether you want to ride solo or toss your favorite pillion on the back, you've got the option. You can always pop this off if you want a little more fender space because maybe you want to throw some extra gear on top of the fender. Really is a nice option right out of the factory. Now when it comes to passenger accommodations, in addition to that awesome P-pad, there's also somewhere comfortable for them to put their feet. Check out the mini boards down here. I like these for two reasons. First, they're mini boards. You don't have to stuff your passenger on there with a set of foot pegs, which aren't really as comfortable as actual boards. The other thing I love about them is the adjustability you can see down there. Not only are they adjustable for height, but they're also adjustable for pitch and angle. So even if your rider does something like changes their boots to stack height on their heels, they can still make sure that that is a comfortable pitch for them when they're riding along with you. So let's keep moving up. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the engine that's on the Indian Springfield. The 111 is a really cool engine, but the thing I love best about it is it really has classic styling. Those of you who are familiar with the Indian brand realize that all the way up until '53, the original Indians all ran flatheads. And the modern Indians really harken back to that look. Check out these heads on here. Notice the deep finning on the heads that's canted outwards, just like the old Indians. Also check out too how the heads overhang the jugs by so much. It really does call back to the old side valve of yesteryear. One of the other things I thought was particularly nifty too is the way they have the exhaust pipes appear to point straight down, just like on an old side valve. Inside here are some covers, but there's actually only a gentle 90-degree bend, so you don't lose any type of performance. Instead, it just gives the appearance of a nice old classic motor. There's one more surprise here too externally. Check out these puppies. Those are actually pushrod tube covers, despite the fact they're meant to mimic the old valve covers on a side valve. This engine is an absolute jewel. It's beautiful to look at. It's very faithful to an actual flathead. So let's keep moving up the bike. Now we talked about the glass and the bags being the thing that identify the Springfield as a little bit different. I love this because there's a quick release setup from the factory. Look how easy it is to pop that windshield off. It's cake. The thing I really like about this is an option that even the more upmarket Indians don't offer. Even if you had a Chieftain or a Roadmaster, you're not going to get that type of quick release popping off of the fairing. Speaking of that fairing, it weighs 20 some odd pounds. So the guys over at Indian were able to shed a lot of weight from the front end of the bike. That, coupled with a little bit steeper steering head angle, gives this bike a very playful feel that you might not get on another type of touring bike. Rounding things out, again, coming back to the styling, check out this deeply balanced fender. For many people, this is synonymous with big twin Indian. What I love is they use that balancing to hide some of the brake rotor as well as the calipers. You get that traditional drum brake look, but you still get the modern stopping power of dual discs. One of the other things I love about the fender too is the traditional war bonnet they cap this thing off with. Nothing says traditional Indian like that fender tip light on there. Now I've got to get this bike back over to Indian, but I wanted to take a few moments to show you guys the sneak peek of what's coming down the pike from Indian. Be sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube so you can see other sneak peeks like this one, as well as some of our more in-depth reviews and videos. As always, I'm Lemmy, and I'm out of here.